So let's check out our new friend. What do we got? So now it's raining and things are different. This stage, I cannot, I can't overstate how important this stage is and how interesting it is conceptually. Because let's go back to that thing I was talking about last time. Let's think on the premise of the game. Flower is a game that for most of its marketing, for most of its coverage, it presented itself as a game that is relaxing and that is an escape from trouble. It is just a safe space, so to speak. To put a level like this and a sequence, a narrative sequence like this, and I'm gonna do this now just so we don't get a problem with it later, but there is damage on this stage. You can't die as far as I understand, but there is damage. Like our pedals are gone. It's just us again. So to put this sort of mechanic this deep into the game, I really hope that you can appreciate how powerful that is in a narrative sense, but also how risky it is from a gameplay perspective of maybe alienating the people who are actually trying to enjoy your game. But I also think there is a further point to be had here, which is like there is no such thing as a safe space, and trying to look for that, not to say it's pointless, but it's maybe counterproductive. The thing that you should do is not to look for a safe space, but to get over adversity. And I think, especially in current times, that is a lesson that a lot of people don't get, or it's the search for a safe space. I'm not sure that's a good search. And it applies to many things, I believe. I love how dissonant the music is. Just like kind of chaotic and unsure. Because so far everything was very tonal, but now it's less rigid. It's more in flux. And you have this situation where it's just, this is a problem. And what are you going to do? Are you going to deal with the problem, or are you just going to quit the game? Right? So, and I think that's a really good question to ask yourself in many points of your life. Not just with the game, but just in general. Like, how do you plan to deal with this problem that is presenting itself to you? Do you really want to just be sheltered from the problem? Do you want the problem to not exist? Or do you want to actually overcome it? And not to say that overcoming it will be a 100% pleasurable experience. It won't. Overcoming a problem is full of dissonance and tension and just pressure and things not being super great, but maybe it is necessary. Maybe this tension is necessary, and that's so important why it is here. Maybe this is what we need. But yeah, I think it's like in a world where we have, let me take this as an example. Maybe you've heard about this game. It's a game called Gree. And Gree is very emblematic for me of a type of indie game that's just, it's a game about depression, but it's a game that has no adversity, no confrontation, no challenge, no, I'm not gonna say no gameplay, but it is just pure escapism. And that's fine. There is a place for that. However, I may have already mentioned this once or twice in this channel, but as somebody who has depression and that's constantly struggling with it, that is the word, struggle. You don't get cured from depression, you struggle with it. And the struggle is what makes, up to a point, the moments of peace feel so good and deserved. It's just like, it is really backwards to me for somebody to try to do a game that portrays depression where there is no anxiety and no struggle, because that's not what depression is. That's just, I don't even know what that's supposed to be. But it's just like, if anything, Journey and Flower are much more, especially Flower, are much more accurate depictions of depression than Gree could ever hope to be, because they actually pose a problem for you to deal with. And yeah, that is important. That it is important that we have something to deal with. And I think, in my particular perspective, it is very pointless to go through life looking for safe spaces. A safe space is not what you want. What you want, or what you should want, in my opinion, of course, is that you are okay with confrontation, that you are okay with the struggle, that you can have the struggle and that can not impede you from functioning as a person. So it's like, oh, we have a thing over here. The message becomes that you shouldn't want to just stop and feel completely sheltered from the chaos that is around you. You should look for ways to endure it that are healthy, and look for things that boost you, that make you feel comfortable and confident. And you should want, and when I say should, that's really all just my opinion, but anyway, that's how I see this as somebody who has dealt with these problems for the past 20 something years. And it tends to work. And that's why I'm saying this. I'm saying this because for me, I don't think I'll ever be cured of being a depressive individual. I will always have moments in life where depression is just there, and it's something that I have to struggle through. But that's the thing, I have to struggle through it. Not to say that if somebody presented me like, here, take this pill and you'll be cured of depression forever. I would take that in a second. And I think that anybody who is in the little bit honest with themselves would say the same thing. It's just like, I'm about to piss a lot of people off probably, but it's just like, if you have a disease you want it cured, and I'm not sure that the thought process of trying to accept your disease is a good one. So it's just like, if you have depression and somebody offered you a cure and you did not take it, I would find that extremely odd behavior, and it would just cement some sort of mental illness further, in my opinion. But anyway, I'll give it another example. I have struggled with kidney disease. How is it said again in English? Chronic renal failure. Since I was born, it's a thing. I have chronic kidney disease. And if somebody just walked up to me and said, I can cure you, legit. Okay, fine, please do it, because this thing has always been a hindrance in my life. And even though I am okay from it at this point, like I have learned how to manage it. The time and emotional effort I have spent in learning how to manage it could have been so much better spent into anything else. Like anything. And like, not even to account for the many hours I spent in hospitals doing nothing but staring at the ceiling. But it's like, if somebody walked up to me now and just offered me a cure, I would take it in a heartbeat. Even less than that, like a nanosecond. However, I would never, and this is where maybe it's weird, but I would never want those experiences, though, that struggle, taken away from me. Because that struggle made me who I am. The morals I have, the things that I say and think, those are all because of that adversity, because of the things that I was made to go through in my life. And this may sound weird coming from somebody who would consider himself to be depressed forever. Even if I struggle with it, I'm also a happy person. I consider myself to be a happy individual for most of the time. But I am extremely pleased with who I am, even with all of the problems, even with all of the things. And I think that should be the goal, like, of accepting yourself. But accepting yourself doesn't mean not wanting to improve who you are, because we can always improve. We can always do better. And the search for improvement, of wanting to do better, to be a better person, it is fundamental to me, to what it means to be like a person, to what it means to be human. I don't even think this is about depression specifically. Whoa, ho, ho. What's up? That was scary. Oh, nice. So let's try and do this. Oh yeah, we have I just absolutely love how dissonant the music is in this part of the game. It's so good. It's such powerful, like, narrative device, if nothing else. Okay, let's do this very carefully. This is where the tapping really reveals its value. Ooh. Let's go over this thing, careful. There we go. Do a bend here. Nice. Good. Good. One down. However many to go. Do we have more flowers here? Yep. I think it's weird that we didn't find anything in this canyon. Maybe we'll check up there once we have everything in this part of the stage figured out. Yeah. The search for safe spaces and acceptance. It's something that I can really relate with. I really understand people wanting that. But I feel like that's not really what you want. You don't want to just or maybe it is. Maybe it is the pill thing. But I think it's really bizarre that people just want things handed to them. They just want to be safe and they just want things to work without any input. And it's just, I don't know. I guess to relate to the problem of like the kidney disease and the pill that would miraculously cure it. I would love if that was a thing. Don't get me wrong, I would love it. However, it's not, and it will never be. It will never be that. And understanding that those are the parameters for my reality. That's what it is. That's really important. And I think that's the issue I take with this search for safe spaces and the complete removal of adversity. I get it in a momentary state. I get that sometimes you may be really in need of just a break. Sometimes you just want things to give you a freaking break, and that's trust me, I get it. I think I said it in the first episode of the series that if I sound a little bit jaded, it's because this is my third time trying to record this. And that whole situation just made me so angry. It was just, I was trying to record this thing and everything kept going wrong as it could possibly. I had to format my computer at least some 10 times, and I'm not even exaggerating, this week to try and be able to solve problems with it. It was just like, at first the sound was acting weird, and that was awful. And then it wasn't shutting down properly, and then it wasn't booting up at all. It was just problem after problem after problem. And I finally managed to get it fixed. And I have a pressure thing because I need to start a project tomorrow. It needs to happen because a game is going to be released. So I need to do this tomorrow. And I only managed to get the computer fixed today. So this me recording Flower is also a trial by fire. I need to know that everything is okay. And hopefully, third time's the charm. I think I got everything under control. And I would have loved to not have struggled with that, don't get me wrong. But it's also like, whatever, it's done. It is done, and I've been, hopefully, successful in navigating this problem, and I learned things from it. Like, the struggle made me realize things about computer engineering and about myself, and things that I care about and things that I don't care about, things that I'm willing to give up, things that I'm not willing to give up. And that knowledge, that learning is so precious. If it wasn't there, right, if I hadn't, don't get me wrong, the struggle was awful. But if it hadn't happened, I wouldn't know things about myself and about computers and about things that I know now, simply because I had this problem and because I chose to tackle it myself. But yeah, I don't know. Things, it's weird. This is a very complicated and, how do I say this, like, personal view on things. I don't super expect anybody to agree with me on this, although I do think I'm right. But you know, I'm willing to debate this. Like, if you think that safe spaces are a thing that are 100% necessary, I would love to hear that. I would love for somebody to actually make a philosophical, intellectual point about this that is just not regurgitating Twitter bullshit, like, and going through ad hominem and as soon as things get challenging. But yeah, I think, and this stage is very representative of that, actually. There is a moment, at least for me, while I am like in a point of depression, where I can tell that things are really bad, but there is also some very real comfort in knowing that I can get through it, in knowing that it will be okay. And don't get me wrong, I have no reason to believe that most of the time. It is 100% a faith thing that I have had to teach myself to have. And it is, more often than not, the thing that really saves me. It's just this naive, 100% unjustified belief that things will be okay, based on nothing, based on faith, based on the fact that I want it to be true, and that my will be enough to make it real. And sometimes it does. Actually, most of the times it does. And it's like, I don't say this to prop myself up. I'm not trying to say I'm awesome because I know how to deal with depression. That's not it. What I think is, I am a human being. And in general terms, my brain is not any more powerful than any other brain out there. So it's just, what I do, I am 100% sure that anybody could very well do if they wanted to, or if they knew how, which I think is, maybe this is where the root of the issue is for me, that if you keep searching for safe spaces and for things to just be okay on their own, you will never understand your true potential, your true power. You will never know of what exactly you are capable of. And that's too bad. Ooh. Can I do this? Let's try. Yes. Awesome. And like, it's this feeling of knowing yourself, knowing what you can do, that is so valuable, and it's so, it goes missing if you just search for things to simply shelter you from adversity. You never really learn how to deal with it, and learning how to deal with it is so good. It's so powerful because it goes beyond the depression, right? Learning how to deal with it will prepare you for other aspects of your life when other things go wrong. Because if you consider, and you would not be wrong in considering this, but if you consider that depression is an incredibly personal problem, it's yours and it's your problem to deal with, and there is nothing that nobody else can do about it, which is not true. People help a lot with depression. If you have good friends that can support you, that matters a lot. But there are things in life that you will have to struggle through alone. And knowing that you are capable of doing it, knowing you are capable of getting through adversity, having that faith that things will be okay, it is a really good feeling. And knowing that, because I say like I have no reason to believe that, and I really don't, or at least I really didn't the first time I did it. Nowadays it is a pretty established pattern that I can in fact get over it. I do indeed have the fortitude necessary to withstand my depression. So I have turned my faith into justified belief, which is really funny to think about. So what once was a 100%, what once was a 100% thing that I would just take on faith, it would just be, I believe this because I have to, because there's no other way. Now I know that there is actually justification. I know that I can do it because I've done it before. And it doesn't matter that we get hurt along the way. Getting hurt is it's a part of the process. It's too bad, it's a shame. I wish I didn't. I wish I didn't have to get hurt. But it's okay. We can get through it. Oh, I finally missed one. No idea where it is either.